Hello, and welcome to my how-to tutorial of how to play Borderlands 2 on PC on split screen. This is a method that's relatively simple, and I will take you through a couple ways to do it. The first way I will show you is through the disc store-bought version of Borderlands 2. The second way I will show you is Borderlands 2 through Steam. If you would like to skip to the Borderlands 2 through Steam, please click the annotation that will take you there. Let's begin, shall we? So, for the disc version of Borderlands 2, you're going to want to have already installed Borderlands 2 on your PC and played through at least 5 minutes on any character so that you have all the necessary files. On PC, you're going to want to go up to your Start menu, or anywhere you have it, and find where your Borderlands 2.exe is. For me, I have Borderlands 2 on Steam, so I'm going to go find my Borderlands 2.exe in Steam. Once you have found your Borderlands 2.exe, in the Borderlands 2 file, binaries Win32, right here. Now that you know the location of your Borderlands 2, you will exit out of this, and on your desktop, right-click, and hit New Shortcut. It will prompt you for the link. You will hit Browse, and find where your Borderlands 2.exe is in this menu. This should be relatively simple since you have already found it before and know where it is now. Once you find your Borderlands 2.exe again, you hit OK. Do not hit Next yet. At the end of the link, past the quotation mark, you'll hit space, hyphen, capital A, and type in always, focus, just as I have done here. Just past the link, space, hyphen, always focus, and this is case sensitive. You need the A and the F to be capitalized. Do not type anything else. Hit Next. Name the shortcut Player 1 and hit Finish. You now have a link to your Borderlands 2 game on Player 1. Now you are going to go do the same thing. Find your Borderlands 2 again. This time, after that, typing this in. Space, always focus, space, hyphen, controller offset equals 1, space, hyphen, save data ID equals 2. I will keep this menu up for just a few moments so you can look at this and copy it down onto yours. Now that you have typed in this extension to the Borderlands 2.exe file, you will hit Next and name it Player 2 and hit Finish. You now have your two versions of Borderlands 2. For the disc version, you will now need two Xbox controllers, or if you have PlayStation 3, you will need an emulator that connects your PlayStation 3 controller to your PC and then emulates it as an Xbox controller so you can use it. You can either have two regular Xbox 360 controllers and a Xbox 360 wireless receiver for Windows, as I have, or you can have two Xbox 360 USB connected controllers. Either will work okay. You'll need to make sure one controller is connected as Player 1 to your PC and one is connected as Player 2. You will now run Player 1, double-click on it and run it, and only once you have double-clicked on Player 1, you will use your first controller to navigate through the menus until you are at the main menu of Borderlands 2, and where you can see your character and all the options. You will need to make sure that your window is in windowed mode of Borderlands 2 so that you can move it. For me, I have two monitors, so I would move my Borderlands 2 first window onto my second monitor. From there, you will go back onto your desktop and double-click on Player 2, and as soon as you've opened it, use the second controller to navigate through the menus to the main menu. Do not touch controller 1 during this process, or it will ruin it. Once you have both instances of Borderlands 2 on their main menus, and each controller can control each different game individually, you will go to Network Options and do LAN. You will then be able to find the other game and Find Games option, and you will be able to play split screen of Borderlands 2 on PC. I will now switch over to how to do this through Steam. For the Steam version of Borderlands 2, you're going to want to first get the program SandBoxie. If you're not familiar with SandBoxie, you'll go to your window, type in SandBoxie, and go to SandBoxie.com. You will download SandBoxie and go through all the necessary installation. Once you have gone through all the necessary installation, you will be able to, you will have this SandBoxie control window. And you have Sandbox default box. If you do not have Sandbox default box, please refer to another video saying how you can get to it. From here, you have your Steam open already, your regular Steam open, and make sure you are online and everything you need. Minimize this window and go into Sandbox default box, right click, hit Run Sandboxed, run any program. You will now have the option to find it. You need to make sure you have Run as UAC Administrator clicked. Then you'll go over here and click this menu, or actually, sorry, you will hit Browse. You will then find where your Steam application is. This should be under OS, Program Files x86, Steam. And you find steam.exe. You'll click on it and hit Open. Hit OK. It will prompt you with this administrator window. You hit Yes. SandBoxie will now take its time to run Steam of a second instance on a special hard drive location on your computer that will allow you to have two windows of Borderlands 2 open. You hit the little plus next to Sandbox default box, you will be able to see your windows. You will be able to tell when this is done where you have one Steam open and then another. This Steam will take a little bit of time to connect to your account as it would normally have to run Steam. Your other version of Steam will now have gone offline. As you can see, 0 online, and it will be offline. This is what you want. Now you will wait for your SandBoxie Steam to connect to your account. I am not going to fast forward, and I'm just going to wait here in this menu waiting for it so that you have time to do anything else you may need to. Now that your second version of Steam is open, this is the SandBoxie window and it is online. It may lag a little bit when you first open it because it is the SandBoxie version and that takes a little bit of time. You will see that the SandBoxie version, if you go up to the top, right about here will have this yellow window around it. That means that's the SandBoxie window. The SandBoxie window will be online. The regular window will be offline. On your regular window, you will go into Library, find your Borderlands 2, right-click, go down to Properties, Set Launch Options, type space hyphen always focus, just as I have done here. I will just retype it so you can see. Space hyphen always focus. Hit OK and close. Now go over into your SandBoxie Steam, go to Library, Borderlands 2, right click again, Properties, Set Launch Options, and type this in. Space hyphen always focus space hyphen controller offset equals 1 space hyphen save data ID equals 2. I will keep this open for just a moment so you can see it and copy it down. Once you have put this down into your launch options Borderlands 2, you'll hit OK and then close. Now you will need 2 Xbox 360 controllers or 2 PlayStation 3 controllers, and if you have PlayStation 3 controllers, you'll have to get an emulator on your computer so that the connected PlayStation 3 controllers will be emulated on your computer as Xbox 360 controllers. If you already have Xbox 360 controllers, if you have the wireless ones, you will need the Microsoft wireless receiver for PC, or the Microsoft Xbox 360 wireless receiver for PC, and 2 Xbox 360 wireless controllers. Or you have 2 Xbox 360 cable USB controllers. Either of these will work okay. You'll then take your controllers, turn them on, and make sure they are connected to your PC. I am going to do this with my controllers now. Give me just a moment so that I can find my controllers and connect them to my PC. Both of my Xbox 360 controllers are now connected to my PC. I will now demonstrate to you how you can do this. Go into your first instance of Steam that says no connection, you are offline, and play Borderlands 2. Wait for it to load. It will say Steam was unable to sync your files for Borderlands 2 with the Steam cloud. Because you are offline on Steam, this is what will show up. You just hit play game. Now you wait for this menu to appear. You have to use your Player 1 controller at this menu. You will use it to scroll down and hit play. You cannot use your mouse here. You'll hit play. Borderlands 2 will now launch. We will wait for it to launch. Make sure to not use your mouse or your Player 2 controller during this process, at this moment. Make sure that your Borderlands 2 is run in a windowed mode and not in full screen. You can easily do this by going into the game and changing your settings so that it is windowed. You will use your controller to skip through these menus, your Player 1 controller to skip through these menus. It says press any key, but you'll hit start on your controller, and it will now search for downloadable content and everything else you need. Give it a moment while it does this. We're now at the main menu of Borderlands 2. Use your first controller to scroll through a few of the options. Use some of the buttons to make sure that the Player 1 controller works. Now, you will use your mouse, as you see here. Drag the window. For me, I will drag it to my second monitor over here. If you do not have a second monitor, you can simply go to the bottom, or actually you cannot do that. You are preferably going to have 2 monitors for this. So drag this into your second monitor. Will it let me? Well, it will not let me drag this into my second monitor because I have Camtasia Studio running. It is most likely the case. Anyway, you would drag that onto your second monitor and keep it there. If you cannot, you will minimize it, go to your SandBoxie Steam, play Borderlands 2. SandBoxie allows you to run a second version of Borderlands 2 that is separate from your regular Steam. It will load again. Make sure not to touch the first controller during this process. Wait for your Borderlands 2 on the second instance using SandBoxie to load up. Once you have hit the play button on your Steamed SandBoxie, you will not touch your mouse again, or the Player 1 controller, until I say. You will continue waiting for your Borderlands 2 window to open. On the SandBoxie Steam, it generally takes a little bit more time than normal to load up. You will see the second Borderlands 2 appear down over here underneath the first one. Now you have the second Borderlands 2 launcher open. Use your Player 2 controller to scroll down and hit play. So, here we are. I'm sorry, I had some technical difficulties, so you may have noticed a little bit of difference. On this menu here, make sure you have clicked on it and that you're using your Player 2 controller and not Player 1 to scroll down. Make sure you've clicked on it and hit play with the Player 2 controller. Now it will load up. We will now wait for it to load. If SandBoxie asks for anything of immediate recovery, make sure you have select recover the same folder, recover. Always do this. Always remember, do not touch your first player controller as this is loading up and during the menu of it. You'll now notice that over here we have two windows of Borderlands 2 open. Make sure you stay on this window until Borderlands 2 loads up. Use your second controller to skip through these menus, not your first. Press start on your Player 2 controller. It will search for downloadable content. This will take a little longer than the other window because this is the SandBoxie Steam. I have cut through the last part because my Borderlands 2 took a long time to load. But always remember to hit recover. Now you're in your Borderlands 2 window. Your second controller will be able to control this window. If you minimize this window, I'm sorry for a little bit of lag. Go on to the first one. This is the one your first controller is able to use. You can now use both of these windows at the same time, which is the key part of doing this. So I'm going to check something real quick. Make sure this is on window mode. If you want, you can downsize your resolution so that the game runs better on your computer. So now each controller can control a different instance of Borderlands 2, and you can play split screen by going to Network Options and LAN and find games, and you will be able to see your other player. I do not have my other window of Borderlands 2, so I'm going to go do that real quick. It will show up with a few of them. Just make sure to click on just any one of them. It will connect to the game on LAN, and you now have both of your windows, each controlled by a different controller, available, and you can play together. I'm not going to be doing any gameplay because I lagged a little bit, and I would not like for you to have to bear through that. So thank you for watching. I hope this video really helped you in setting up your Borderlands 2 split screen on your PC so that you can play with your friends all the time. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try and answer them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. This has been VG and Cubed, and I'll see you next time. Adios.